Welcome back to our channel USA Coins 69. Today, we're heading straight into the heart of American numismatic history to talk about a coin that's both common in appearance yet surprisingly valuable in the right circumstances, the United States of America 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This coin has been hiding in plain sight for decades, and its story is one of history, craftsmanship, and unexpected worth. By the time you finish this video, you might start checking every single penny you come across. Let's start by going back in time to 1954. The United States was in the post-war boom era. The economy was growing rapidly, new industries were thriving, and families were settling into a period of prosperity. In the middle of all this, the U.S. Mint was continuing its long tradition of producing the Lincoln Wheat Penny, which had been in circulation since 1909. Designed by Victor David Brenner to honor President Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday, the coin featured Lincoln's bust on the obverse and two stylized wheat stalks on the reverse. It was simple, elegant, and instantly recognizable. In 1954, the Lincoln Wheat Penny was struck at 3 U.S. Mint facilities: Philadelphia, with no mint mark; Denver, marked with a D, and San Francisco, marked with an S. Tens of millions of pennies were made that year, and for most Americans, they were just pocket change. But as any experienced coin collector will tell you, not all coins are created equal, and this is where the 1954 penny gets interesting. The value of a 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny depends heavily on its condition, rarity, and any unique minting characteristics. Most of these coins circulated heavily, picking up scratches, nicks, and discoloration over time. Finding one that has survived in pristine, uncirculated condition is far less common than you might think. Coins that have been carefully preserved since the day they were minted, with sharp details, glossy surfaces, and no signs of wear, are the ones that catch the eyes of serious collectors. But condition isn't the only factor that can make the 1954 Wheat Penny valuable. Some coins from this year carry fascinating minting errors. These could include double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, or planchet flaws. These mistakes happened during the minting process and were never meant to be released into circulation. Because they're so rare, collectors see them as one-of-a-kind treasures. Even a small, barely noticeable error can add significant value to the coin. There's also the matter of the mint mark. Generally, the San Francisco minted 1954 S pennies are harder to find in top condition compared to their Philadelphia or Denver counterparts, which can make them more valuable to the right buyer. Collectors often build complete sets that include coins from all 3 mints in various grades, and having a flawless example of each can be a challenge. Beyond its potential worth, the 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny carries a nostalgic charm. It's a coin from a different era, a time when a penny could still buy you something, maybe a piece of candy or a gumball. For many older collectors, it brings back childhood memories of finding shiny wheat pennies in their change. For younger collectors, it's a tangible connection to America's mid-century history. Now, let's talk about the market for this coin. While worn, circulated 1954 pennies are usually worth just a few cents over face value, the price skyrockets when you're dealing with uncirculated examples or coins with rare errors. In auctions and private sales, these premium examples have been known to fetch incredible sums, amounts that might surprise people who've never thought twice about a penny. And now for the number you've been waiting for. A 1954 Lincoln Wheat Penny in pristine, uncirculated condition, or one with a particularly rare and desirable minting error, has sold for an astounding $52,100. Think about that, a single penny, worth more than many cars, vacations, or even college tuition payments. It's proof that treasures can hide in the most ordinary places. So the next time you're sorting through loose change, don't ignore those old wheat pennies. One of them might just be the key to your next big payday. Today, we're going back to the late 1950s to uncover the story of a humble coin with surprising potential, the United States of America 1957 Lincoln Wheat Penny. This is a coin many people overlook because millions were made, but the truth is, in the right condition or with the right rare features, this penny can be worth far more than you might expect. Stick around until the end, because I'll reveal just how much one of these coins has sold for, and it's a number that will make you look at pennies in a whole new way. Let's step back to 1957. The United States was in the post-war boom era. Families were buying their first cars, moving into new suburban homes, and enjoying an optimistic period in American history. The Lincoln Wheat Penny had already been in circulation for nearly 5 decades at that point, having been first introduced in 1909 to commemorate the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the coin's obverse featured a detailed profile of Lincoln, while the reverse displayed 2 wheat stalks framing the words, 1 cent, which gave the coin its popular nickname, the Wheat Penny. In 1957, the mint struck these pennies at 2 facilities, Philadelphia, which placed no mint mark on the coins, and Denver, which used the D mint mark. Together, they produced hundreds of millions of coins. On the surface, this might make you think that every 1957 wheat penny is common and of little value, but as any experienced numismatist will tell you, the magic lies in the details, and in the condition. Over time, most of these pennies were heavily circulated. They passed through countless hands, wore down in pockets and cash registers, and accumulated scratches and discoloration. But a small number survived in pristine, uncirculated condition. These coins, stored carefully from the day they left the mint, retain their sharp details, original luster, and rich reddish-brown or even bright red coloration. Those are the coins collectors dream about, the ones that can command impressive prices at auction, but that's not the whole story. Some 1957 wheat pennies carry unusual minting errors, and that's where things can get even more exciting. Error coins are often one-of-a-kind or extremely limited in number, which makes them highly desirable. Examples from 1957 include double-die obverse varieties, where certain letters or numbers appear doubled, off-center strikes, where part of the design is missing because the blank wasn't perfectly aligned during minting, and die cracks or cuds, which are raised lines or blobs of extra metal on the coin caused by damaged dies. Even small errors can significantly increase a coin's value, and large, dramatic errors can push that value into the thousands. Collectors also pay close attention to color grading when it comes to wheat pennies. The grading scale ranges from brown to red-brown to full red, with full red examples in high mint state grades being the rarest and most valuable. This is because copper coins naturally tone over time, so finding a coin from 1957 with its original red luster intact is quite rare. Beyond its value, the 1957 wheat penny holds a special place in American numismatic history because it was among the last years this design was in circulation. Just 2 years later, in 1959, the U.S. Mint replaced the wheat stalk reverse with the Lincoln Memorial design to mark the 150th anniversary of Lincoln's birth. This makes late-date wheat pennies like the 1957 an important part of the series, bridging the gap between 2 eras of American coinage. Now for the part you've been waiting for, the value reveal. While many circulated 1957 wheat pennies are worth only a few cents, a top-grade uncirculated example or one with a rare minting error can be worth a substantial sum. In fact, a 1957 Lincoln wheat penny in pristine, uncirculated condition has sold for an incredible $48,800. Think about that, a single cent, worth nearly $50,000. It's proof that treasures can hide in the most ordinary places, and sometimes all it takes is a sharp eye and a little knowledge to uncover them. So, the next time you come across a wheat penny, take a closer look. You might just have a valuable piece of history in your hands. Today, we are going to talk about one coin that may look ordinary to many people, but for true collectors, it's a shining gem of American numismatic history, the United States of America 1 cent Lincoln wheat penny from the year 1948. Now, before you think, oh, it's just a penny, let me tell you something. This small copper coin carries with it a rich story, fascinating details, and in some cases, an impressive price tag that can leave your jaw on the floor. So, grab your coin jars, check your collections, and listen closely, because this 1948 wheat penny might just be the surprise treasure you didn't know you had. Let's first set the stage. The Lincoln wheat penny was first introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. It replaced the Indian head cent and became the first U.S. coin to feature a real historical figure instead of a symbolic image. The wheat stalks on the reverse side were meant to represent prosperity and abundance in the United States. The 1948 version comes nearly 4 decades into its production, but this particular year holds its own special charm in the eyes of collectors. In 1948, the United States was still in the period right after World War II. The economy was changing rapidly, industries were booming, and coins were being struck in large numbers for circulation. That means the 1948 wheat penny is not exactly ultra-rare in terms of how many were made. Over 300 million were minted between the Philadelphia, Denver, and San Francisco mints. However, the real magic comes from its condition, unique mint errors, and the fact that so many of these coins have been lost, worn down, or damaged over the decades. Finding one in pristine, uncirculated condition is like finding a time capsule from post-war America. When you hold a 1948 wheat penny in your hand, you'll notice the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse. The details of his hair, the sharpness of his bow tie, and the clarity of the date are all important indicators of the coin's grade. On the reverse, the 2 wheat stalks frame the bold 1 cent lettering, along with the proud United States of America and the Latin phrase E pluribus unum. Now here's where things get really interesting. While most 1948 wheat pennies might be worth a few cents to a couple of dollars in average circulated condition, the story changes drastically when you come across coins that are in near-perfect condition or have unique minting errors. Collectors pay top dollar for coins with strong strikes, rich original luster, and no scratches or damage. Even more valuable are those with unusual characteristics, like double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on the wrong metal planchets. These rarities turn a common penny into a collector's dream. There are also differences in value depending on where the coin was minted. For example, a 1948 D Denver Mint, or 1948 S San Francisco Mint, penny in pristine mint state can be worth significantly more than a typical Philadelphia minted coin. Coins that have been graded and certified by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC often bring even higher prices, because buyers know they're getting a verified high-quality piece. Think about it, a coin that cost just 1 cent to make in 1948, and was probably used for everyday purchases like candy, newspapers, or a cup of coffee, can now be worth hundreds, or even thousands, of times its original value if it's rare enough. That's the magic of coin collecting. So, if you ever come across a jar of old pennies in your attic, a dusty coin album in your grandparents' house, or a small coin slipped into your change, don't dismiss it. Take a closer look. Check the date. Look for that little D or S mint mark just below the date. Examine the details. Who knows? You might be holding a piece of history that could make a serious difference in your bank account. Today, we're unlocking the story of a piece of American history that might just be hiding in your collection, your piggy bank, or even your change jar, the United States of America 1 cent Lincoln wheat penny from 1941. This little copper coin is more than just a cent, it's a time traveler from the early days of World War II, a symbol of resilience, and for some lucky collectors, a ticket to an impressive payday. Picture the world in 1941. America was still recovering from the Great Depression, everyday life was simpler yet filled with uncertainty, and the United States had not yet entered the war. Franklin D. Roosevelt was president, swing music was on the radio, and gasoline cost less than 20 cents a gallon. In your pocket back then, you might have carried a few Lincoln wheat pennies. They were dependable, durable, and familiar to everyone. But today, some of those pennies, especially certain versions from 1941, are sought after by collectors with a passion for history and rarity. The Lincoln wheat penny design had already been in circulation for over 3 decades by 1941, having first been introduced in 1909 to honor the 100th anniversary of Abraham Lincoln's birth. Designed by Victor David Brenner, the obverse shows Lincoln's portrait facing right, a design so enduring it's still used on pennies today. The reverse is where the wheat penny name comes from, 2 graceful wheat stalks framing the words 1 cent and United States of America, a design meant to symbolize agricultural prosperity. Now, here's where things get interesting. While 1941 pennies are generally not considered the rarest of the wheat penny series, certain variations and high-grade examples can command incredible values. This is because coin collecting isn't just about age, it's about condition, mint marks, and sometimes fascinating minting errors. The 1941 Wheat Penny was minted in 3 locations: Philadelphia, No mint mark; Denver, D mint mark; and San Francisco, S mint mark. The Philadelphia mint produced the largest quantity, but in pristine condition. Even these can be highly collectible. Condition plays a massive role here. A well-worn 1941 penny from circulation might be worth a modest amount to a collector filling a spot in their album, but a 1941 penny in brilliant uncirculated condition, with sharp details and original luster, can skyrocket in value. This is especially true for coins graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC with high mint state, MS, ratings. A perfect MS-67 or MS-68 example can turn a simple 1-cent coin into a rare gem worth hundreds or even thousands, and then there are the mint errors, the little accidents that make collectors' hearts race. Double dies, off-center strikes, die cracks, and repunched mint marks from 1941 are rare finds that send coin value soaring. Imagine holding a coin that not only survived more than 8 decades but also left the mint with a unique flaw that makes it one of a kind. For collectors, that's like striking gold. But why are collectors so passionate about a coin like the 1941 Wheat Penny? Partly, it's nostalgia. These coins were in the hands of soldiers, farmers, factory workers, and children trading marbles on the sidewalk. They were there during a pivotal moment in American history, and owning one is like holding a small, tangible piece of that past. It's also the thrill of the hunt, knowing that somewhere in the world, a rare variation or near-perfect 1941 penny is waiting to be discovered. So, if you ever come across a wheat penny from 1941, don't be too quick to toss it into your spare change jar. Examine it closely, check for its mint mark, look at the condition, and watch for any unusual features. You might just be holding a treasure far greater than 1 cent, and here's the part you've been waiting for. Some exceptional 1941 Lincoln Wheat Pennies have sold for an astonishing $50,700. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny, worth enough to buy a car, take a luxury vacation, or invest in a top-tier coin collection of your own.